Hi everybody, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, happy Saturday or Sunday. You guys might be seeing this on a Sunday. I'm sorry, I've been really busy today and I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit this video in time for tonight. But other than that, I'm going to bring you guys up close. There we go. Okay, so you guys know what time of year it is. School is coming up. And I know how much you guys enjoyed the high school / college horror stories that I did last year. So all throughout this year, I have been saving what I thought were the best school horror stories. So if you guys do enjoy these, be ready because they're going to be coming all month long. Anyways, I'm going to do my quick usual little rundown for any of you who might be new here. For most of the video, I will be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. I do tell these story times in a first person point of view, so if you don't like that, then you can leave.
There's the door. There's the door, bitch!
And these story times are sent in by anonymous people. Alright, let's get into today's story time. Okay, story time. I'm a bitch, but karma is an even bigger bitch. So a little background information. I was 16 and a junior in high school whenever my life pretty much turned to complete shit. Literally a fucking shit show. But as usual, we are not going to start there. We're gonna rewind a little bit because I don't want you guys thinking that I was like just a bitch for no reason, okay? Like I was raised by a bunch of snotty bitches. Scratch that. My siblings and I were actually like basically bred to be assholes. Like throughout my whole childhood, I was pretty much forced to be a bitch. Actually, now that I think about it, this whole thing started way before I even came out the fucking womb. So my mom and my best friend's mom, who we're gonna call Sharon, they have also been best friends since they were children. Like they've known each other their entire lives. They pretty much lived the exact same lives, except for my mom's family was wealthier than Sharon and her family. But you literally couldn't tell the fucking difference, okay? Because of the fact that they both had equally nice cars and they literally lived right next to each other. Like they were living every like best friends, bestie freaking duo dream life of being rich and living right next door to each other. Not only that, but also taking it a step further and getting pregnant around the same time. Now, here's the catch to this friendship, okay? My mom always had to make sure that Sharon knew that my mom was better than her in every little thing. It wasn't even just like, I don't freaking know, but say Sharon and her husband had a cookout. My mom would have a cookout maybe a month later, but she would make it extra as fuck. Like she would literally get a caterer, even though it's literally called a cookout. But yeah, she would get a caterer, she would invite twice as many people, just because she looked at their friendship as more of a competition. Anyways, so yeah, they got pregnant around the same time, and my mom had gotten pregnant a few months after Sharon did. So of course Sharon throws a really cute baby shower and my mom throws one that's 10 times better. More expensive, more people, blah 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 blah, the whole 9 yards. And Sharon knew that my mom was like trying to show her up all the time. She really just didn't care though. She kind of just let my mom get her way because their friendship has been like this their entire lives, and I'm pretty sure it's also because she doesn't want to lose a long life friend over something like that, I guess. I don't know. So of course, growing up, this trickled into my best friend and I's relationship, and we're gonna call my best friend Sarah. Sarah is Sharon's daughter. But yeah, my mom never really grew out of that whole being competitive shit for no fucking reason, which is very annoying for me because since I've been able to walk and talk, my mom has been making sure that I am better than Sarah in every single fucking way possible. Like my mom would sit there for hours with me on the floor trying to get me to walk, trying to get me to say my first words. And it wasn't just like, oh my goodness, you know, like I can't wait to teach her how to walk, I can't wait to teach her how to talk. No, it was literally just to spite Sharon. Like she just wanted me to be able to do all this shit before Sarah could, so she could have bragging rights. And my dad really didn't give a shit about any of this, but he did tell me that whenever I took my first steps, my mom always made sure to record us as well. Like so that way when she had it on camera, she had proof. It was she just, yeah, that's what she had to do. But yeah, my dad was telling me that whenever I did take my first steps, she sent a video to Sharon and she was like, OMG, she just finally took her first steps. I'm so happy that she's so advanced for her age. Hopefully Sarah can catch up with her soon, considering the fact that she's older than my daughter, aka me. And Sarah was literally only like 2 or 3 months older than me. Like, there was no fucking reason for my mom to be putting toddlers up against each other. Like, my mom definitely had a few fucking screws loose. But it only got worse from there, because any sport or activity that Sarah did, I would have to do as well. Like, if Sarah played soccer, my mom put me in soccer. If Sarah did gymnastics, I was in gymnastics as well. If Sarah was taking art classes, I would be put in those classes as well. And this was literally just to show that I was better than Sarah. My siblings were lucky that they never had to fucking go through this shit with my mom, because Sarah was Sharon's only kid. But how my mom explained it, she was trying to teach me that if I want something in life, I can't be afraid to take it away from other people. Which, sure, it really does sound fucking awful, but like I said before, I would be put in all the same activities as Sarah. For example, Sarah started running track, so what happened? I started running track. But instead of just going home and relaxing after practice, my mom would have me come home and run on the treadmill for like an hour. Mind you, I was in 7th grade on high speed and high incline, just so that way I could be faster than Sarah. Of course, making me do all this extra work outside of these activities worked out for my mom, because I always came in first. Like, I can't remember the last time that I lost anything. And because of this, I was praised by everybody. So since the age of 5, I had a very, very big ego, but that also came with, it also just came with a lot of responsibility, pretty much. I wasn't allowed to be a kid. Like, say we would go to a family event, right? All the kids are outside playing on the swing sets or playing in the grass, just, you know, being kids. Well, I had to sit at the table with the adults, because my mom told me, you're not gonna go out there and play with those dirty kids. Look at them, they have mud all over them, they're so fucking disgusting, they're filthy, their parents are awful. And it's not even like these were just some random kids. These are literally my cousins. Like, it was rude and weird as fuck. And she would say this to my aunt and uncle's faces. Like, the one time, my aunt let her daughter wear this one skirt, and my mom was like, your daughter looks like a tramp. Right in front of my cousin too. So my mom had some fucking balls. So yeah, years of being brainwashed with that shit, I pretty much started to look at people like they were lower than me, like they had a lower status than me, and they were scum. They weren't on the same level as I was, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, we're gonna fast forward to freshman year of high school. Sarah and I, we're still best friends, even though my mom was still on her bullshit, which was also super weird too, because listen, my mom wanted me to act so classy. Like, she wanted me to be super classy and act as if I was above all of my peers. But yet, since my like 13th fucking birthday, a few months after Sarah's, obviously because we were born a few months apart, my mom would always make sure that my birthday parties were super extravagant. Like, I got the best gifts, I had the most people at the party, even though literally there were people that I didn't even fucking know there. I mean, I'm not complaining, because I got a lot out of this whole thing. But yeah, she would also make sure that Sarah and I's mutual friends, because we're in the same friend group, duh. My mom would make sure that they would like me better than Sarah. Like, anytime that we would go to the mall, my mom would give them money to spend. My mom would let us drink, have boys over, anything. Like I said, and this is at the age of 13. Like, I was very fucking confused whether I was supposed to be classy or trashy. Like, which one, mom? Which fucking one? Pick one. Can't have both. Fuck. That's another thing though. She was very controlling about who I was friends with. She didn't want me being friends with anybody who looked or acted trashy, but she also didn't want me being friends with people that she thought were better than me, because she said I needed to make sure that I'm always at the top of the food chain. Now, before we get into the misadventures of me being a complete and utter asshole, real quick, I want to put in a trigger warning. For the next few minutes, there's going to be talk about ED. If that's a trigger for you, or if that makes you uncomfortable, you can skip to this part of the video. And don't worry, you don't need to know this portion of the story for everything else to make sense, so you're okay. So when I first got to high school, I wanted to try out for cheer, but my mom, of course, wouldn't let me until she found out what the hell Sarah was doing. Well, what do you know? Sarah also wanted to do cheer. And my mom was determined for me to be a flyer, okay? If you guys don't know what that is, it's the person who stands on top of the pyramid, pretty much. I don't know if this is like low-key considered child abuse. No, it definitely is. Yeah, it is. Okay, anyways. So like I said, my mom was going to make sure that I became a flyer, okay? And I was 5'4" and 110 pounds. Like, I was not overweight at all. But my mom acted like I should have been on Weight Watchers.
Do I look fat? Just like 20 pounds overweight.
Like, she was always criticizing me about my weight. Anyway, so my mom sat me down at the kitchen table and she was like, we're gonna set a goal for you to get to 95 pounds before tryouts. Like, what the fuck? So, you know, here we go again. Every day after school, I'm now running like 3 hours on the treadmill every day. And we literally had a trash can next to the treadmill just in case if I needed to puke from running so hard, which that trash can has definitely seen better days. But not only was I literally running myself to death, my mom had me on a calorie deficit. If you don't know what that is, it's pretty much where you can eat whatever you want, but you have to eat like, but there's only a certain amount of calories that you can eat. I'm almost positive that's what it is. If that's not what it is, correct me down below in the comments, but I'm almost positive. So yeah, for a little while there, my routine was go to school, come home, and run on the treadmill. And it didn't matter how late it was at night. Like, the one day I came home, I had a few hours worth of studying to get done for a few tests that I was having, and I had homework to do. And after I put the last book in my book bag at 9 o'clock, my mom was like, all right, get your shoes on, get your shorts on, get your shirt on. We're going downstairs to the garage. Literally had me running in a freaking garage with no air conditioning. It's 80 degrees outside. But yeah, she would be like, all right, come on, get on the treadmill now. And she would literally sit there and make sure that I was running for 3 hours straight. So at this point, I pretty much started making myself puke. Because listen, being on a calorie deficit is way harder than anybody thinks it is. Like, I would be sneaking food all the time, and my mom low-key knew because I wasn't losing as much weight as she said that I should have been from running every day, and then, you know, also doing the calorie deficit. And then my mom, she eventually found out that I had been, I think it's like called purging, like, I don't know what it's called, but you know, she found out that I was forcing myself to vomit. And she didn't care. Like, she literally didn't have a problem with it. Like, she came in the bathroom whenever, like, I was doing it, and she just looked at me, and then she just shut the door and walked away.
Emotional, damn it!
Because as long as I lost that weight, she was happy. She didn't care how the fuck I lost it. Well, you wouldn't believe what happens. All this hard work I put in to be a flyer, went to tryouts, fainted probably a minute in. And this wasn't even the first time that this had happened. Like, I had fainted probably 3 times within the past week before this. But my mom really just did not give 2 fucks. So, you know, I go to the hospital. Like, I was forced to go to the hospital because anytime my mom wouldn't make me go to the hospital over this shit. But since I was at the school, yeah, pretty much. When I got there, everybody decided that I need to go to a treatment center, which, as you could imagine, this had my mom fucking furious because now Sharon, like, low-key had an up on her. At least this is what she thought. Sharon would never sit there and, like, actually be like, oh, like, at least my daughter doesn't have an eating disorder. No, Sharon would literally be like, oh, I'm sorry, honey. Like, I think you guys get the point. At this point, my mom's just literally a fucking bitch. So yeah, I spent a little bit of time in a treatment center, and then after I got out, somehow my mom had to talk the coach into letting me try out again. So, you know, I tried out, made the team, I was a flyer. So now my mom could shut the fuck up and be happy. Because now she has bragging rights on Sharon, whatever the fuck her name is. Which she would always brag about how I was skinnier than Sarah and how I was prettier than her and I was more athletic. I had more skill than her. Yeah, but okay, so now, finally, I feel like we can get into everything. After I do my eyeliner off camera, I'll be back. So now that you guys have a little bit of the background information as to why I am a raging, complete and utter asshole, I feel like we can finally get into everything. So even though Sarah and I were best friends, I would treat her very, very badly. And I wouldn't even do it on purpose. It was just the way that I was raised. And pretty much my mom making everything a competition between her and I since we were kids. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I was definitely that friend where if she showed me an outfit and asked me which one looked better on her, I'm gonna tell her the one that makes her look like shit. I mean, she kind of did catch on to that though, so she like stopped asking me for advice on what clothes she should wear and stuff like that because she kind of realized that I was never going to let her look better than me. Never. There wasn't even a chance in hell I would ever let her walk out of the house looking better than I did. Like, for example, the beginning of sophomore year, her and I went to this party and she was wearing this really cute white mini skirt with a green crop top that showed off her boobs. And Sarah has like a really nice body. She goes to the gym 24/7, and I was getting super annoyed because I was always used to guys staring at her. Because don't get me wrong, Sarah was extremely pretty. She had the face card and a very nice body. But yeah, so like I said, all the guys are staring at her. It's pissing me off because I'm not getting any attention. So what did I do? Well, looking back at these things, I'm really not proud of them. But we were both sitting at the bar in my friend's basement, and while we're sitting there, Sarah got up to go and do something. Well, whenever she gave up, this gave me the perfect opportunity, because if I couldn't get the guy's attention off of her in general, I was gonna make sure that she was getting negative attention. So yeah, this was the perfect opportunity for me to ruin her white skirt and embarrass her a little bit.
This sounds like a new opportunity.
So I didn't really like to drink liquor or anything like that. Like, I would always pretty much bring my own shit, and my own shit meaning I really liked red wine. So I took a little bit of the red wine that was in my cup, and I got a little bit on the seat that she was sitting in next to me. And at this point, Sarah's only downfall, like the only reason why I was really able to fuck with her as much as I did, was because when she would drink, she wouldn't just drink to drink. She would drink to black out. Damn, Sarah and I kind of could have been best friends. Anyway, so yeah, Sarah comes back from the bathroom and she sits down in the chair, and I didn't put enough down for her to realize that she was sitting on anything. So at this point, I'm thinking how hilarious it'll be whenever she stands up and when all the boys are grossed out because they're gonna think that she got her period. So, you know, it was taking a little bit long for everybody to get up. So I'm like, OMG guys, we should go in the hot tub. And then, you know, Sarah gets up, and everybody's pretty much walking behind her and just like whispering and laughing about it. And then she starts trying to hang all over the guys, and they like are pushing her off of them.
Got him!
They start calling her gross. And that's whenever I'm like, OMG, Chris, she got it on your chair. We definitely can't let her go in the hot tub because she's gonna bleed everywhere. And our mutual friends knew exactly what the fuck I was doing, because our little group was Sarah, Jackie, Becky, and I. Jackie and Becky were more loyal to me, mainly because of my mom. So yeah, they were more loyal to me than Sarah. Well, actually, I thought they were, but that's for later. So yeah, we all go back to my house that night, Jackie, Becky, and Sarah and I wake up to Sarah crying and Jackie consoling her. And whenever one of my friends cries, I really don't care. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and freaking baby you. I'm just gonna tell you to buck up and get over it. Life is life. The fuck?
Like, no one cares.
So I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong? And then she shows me her phone, and everybody was posting pictures and videos of her with that red stain on the back of her white mini skirt. Like, in some of the videos, it was like videos of guys pushing her off of them, like being like, bro, you're gross, go change your fucking clothes, like, go home. And one thing about me is, regardless of what the consequences are, if I'm gonna do something to you, I'm gonna tell you that I did it straight to your face. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend and be like, oh my god, I don't know who did that. No. Like, if I fucked your boyfriend, I'm going to tell you to your face, I fucked your boyfriend before anybody else can.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Like, I'll be the first one to tell you. So Sarah's like, I'm not even on my period, like, what the fuck? And boys are so dramatic. Like, it really didn't even look like she had her period that much, but like, to an untrained eye, it could have. And of course, all the other girls were going along with it as well, because they also were tired of her getting all the fucking attention. The fuck? She was like, why didn't anybody give me a change of clothes or something? And then I was like, oh, because like we all thought that it was funny, and everybody did think it was funny. And then I told her, I was like, yeah, I really thought that it would be funny to get a little bit of wine on your skirt and have everybody think that it was your period. So then she goes on about a whole spiel saying that she would never do that to me, and how upset would you be if I did that to you? You would be so sad and embarrassed. Blah 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 blah. And then that's whenever I interrupt her, right after she says, like, what if I did something like that to you? I interrupt her and I'm like, now Sarah, let's not forget the last time that you tried to get me back for something that I did, and it completely blew up in your fucking face. So I don't think you want to go there with me. And that made her be quiet real fucking quick. Because there was another time back in our freshman year where I had really embarrassed Sarah again. She had this journal that she would write all of her secrets and feelings and thoughts in. And she went to go help her mom with something and it was taking mad long, so I decided to go through her room because, like I said, I was bored as fuck, duh. And well, I found it under her bed and I read a little bit of it, and there was stuff in there about boys that she liked, and there were a few pages about me, her mainly talking shit on me, to be honest. Pretty much just saying that I am a self-centered biatch, which, like, she's not wrong, but like, girl, say it to my face. So yeah, I took pictures of these pages. I put the freaking diary back, and these pages that she wrote talking about this boy, she had been talking to this boy that she liked for probably 2 months, and he had no idea that she liked him. So what did I do? I sent him the pictures of the pages in her journal, and I was like, OMG, look what I just found. She's literally obsessed with you. Like, it's creepy as fuck. So he ended up sending her the pictures of her diary, and he was like, dude, like, why are you writing about me? This is weird as fuck. And then he blocked her. If anything, I did her a favor, because if he actually liked her, then he wouldn't have been weirded out. The fuck? So yeah, the pictures of her journal got around school and everything. And Sarah's never tried to pull one over on me or like get me back for anything that I've done to her, because she knew that I would make her life a living hell. Like, she'd be freaking miserable, which is what I had to do this time that she tried to get me back, because I'm at the top of the food chain, and then it's her, and then it's whoever the fuck else. She stepped out of line, I had to put her back in her place. She thought that she was above me. She's not. So to get me back, she decided that she was gonna post pictures from whenever I was in the hospital and the rehab center, or like the treatment center, like back whenever I was like looked deathly ill, and she knew the reason behind it too. But she posted pictures on her story, and she's like, so proud of you for being this many months clean, and I'm so happy we also have you here with us, blah 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 blah.
Dumbass bitch.
And here's the thing, okay, everybody thought that I was perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with me ever. Honestly, everybody just thought that that day at tryouts it was really hot in the gym, and that's why I passed out. And even my mom wasn't about to let anybody know that I was in a treatment center, so she literally was posting pictures on Facebook making it look like we were on vacation or something, or I was on vacation, so that way nobody would suspect anything. So now I was out for blood, okay?
Run, bitch! Run!
There's no way in hell that I'm gonna let her embarrass me and think that she has the upper hand in this friendship. It's not happening. So there was a group chat with Becky, Jackie, and I, and then there was one with Becky, Jackie, Sarah, and I. Well, we all didn't talk to Sarah for that whole week. And I could tell that Sarah was on edge. Like, this bitch was literally shitting her pants because she didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do to her. So I decided to text her and I'm like, hey, I'm really tired of us fighting. Can we just call it even? I really miss my best friend. She texted me back less than 2 seconds later, and she's like, yeah, like, I'm sorry, I just got really upset with you, you know, like, I feel like you're always making fun of me or not treating me nicely, but I'm sorry that I did that. That was her first mistake. Like, why are you saying sorry for something that I caused you to do? Like, girl, have some self-respect, please. Anyway, so that weekend we decided that we're gonna have a sleepover at her house, and Sarah has 2 stepbrothers and one is our age. So when we hang out at her house, which we barely do because there's nothing to fucking do there, we'll let him hang out with us, and we're gonna call him Brandon. Well, Brandon has had a huge crush on me since like the day that I met him. Like, this kid would literally kiss the ground that I walked on if I would let him, which I never would because he's ugly as fuck. Anyway, so before I texted Sarah telling her that I just wanted to consider it even, miss my best friend, blah 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 blah, I had been texting with Brandon, Jackie, and Becky, and I pretty much told him that we're all gonna pretend to get drunk and I need him to make out with her.
Side eye.
And he was like, ooh, no, she's so gross, that's so gross. So then I just texted him separately, and I'm like, listen, if you do this, I'll sleep with you.
Bruh.
And I never did anything sexual with anybody before, so if this doesn't show you how determined I am to slap her back into her place and never let her be above me, I don't know what will. So then I don't get a text back from him, and I was getting a little bit worried. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, take it or leave it. Deal or no deal. But then he texts the group chat, and I'm like, oh fuck, he probably just sent a screenshot. Fuck my life. But instead it just said, you know what guys, I thought about it and I'll do it. Period. Now, the only thing that he really didn't know about this plan was that Jackie, Becky, and I were going to, well, one of us was going to take a video of it and then send it around. But I didn't really care because a deal's a deal, and he should have asked why we wanted him to do this in the first place. Like, it's not my fault he didn't ask why. So fast forward to Friday night. Sarah and I's parents, they went out to go and see some stand-up comedian guy, and then they were gonna go to the casino after, so we were gonna have all night to just hang out, being really good kids.
You lying? Yeah.
So a little bit into the night, we decided to play some drinking games, and then we get into a game of truth or dare. I was taking shots of water with Brandon and Jackie. Becky was actually taking shots with her, so that way it wasn't sus. So we start playing the game, and then all of a sudden Jackie dares Sarah to kiss Brandon, her stepbrother. And at first she was like, OMG, no, ew, that's fucking gross. Why would you even ask me to do that? And then we're like, no, that's not weird or gross at all. I've kissed my cousin. I've kissed my stepbrother.
You need to leave!
What the fuck? So then Jackie, Becky, and I were all like, fine, then we'll make out with him. And we all make out with him just to kind of give her a little bit of a push. Because I didn't care what I had to do. But she was going to kiss him tonight. I did not care. It was gonna happen. Well, then after, of course, I kissed him, she was like, fuck it, okay.
Side eye.
So instead of just giving him a little kiss, she literally full on is making out with him.
No, God! No, God!
Like, she got on top of him and everything. It was like gross as fuck, but yet hilarious. The secondhand embarrassment though was just awful. I never wish that upon anybody. Anyway, so Jackie took a video and she sent it to this one guy who like loves exposing people on his story or just on his social media accounts in general, because there's no way in absolute hell we were gonna post that shit, because that's just weird. But yeah, he posts the video and then he's like, yo, this shit's nasty as fuck. I don't give a fuck if y'all are not actually related, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, so the whole school was pretty much calling her disgusting and everything else under the freaking sun. After that though, she finally understood no matter what she does, I will always be above her. Always. Well, finally there was the last straw, okay? Like where Sarah had enough of my bullshit. So Jackie and Becky knew better than to try and get one over on me, because they saw firsthand what happens when you try to do that. So Sarah was kind of like their test dummy, you know? Like, and also Sarah's my best friend, so if I would do that to Sarah, imagine what I would do to you. I would say a while back, Sarah stopped telling me about guys that she liked, because any guy that she did like, I would find a way to take them from her without any remorse or regret.
Go home and get the gun.
Damn! And it's not even like I liked these dudes. It was just the way that I grew up. I learned that I can take anything that I want from everybody and anybody.
Who the fuck are you talking to?
So in the beginning of junior year, she started dating this guy who we're gonna call Jake. They had been dating for like 2 months. And at this time, I was busy in my own life, so I really didn't give a fuck. Like, I was way too busy to worry about taking this guy from her, as I usually would. But then, you know, life slows down a little bit and I have time. And Sarah really didn't want to hang out with me as much anymore, so I was offended. Like, she would rather hang out with this boyfriend that she's only been dating for 2 months rather than the person that she's been best friends with her whole life.
Be fucking for real.
Sounds a little bit snakish if you ask me. So I asked her if all 3 of us could hang out because I miss her so much. And I could tell that she was hesitant at first, but she ended up saying yeah. So the first time that all 3 of us were gonna hang out, like right before we were about to hang out, she texted me and she was like, can you please not be flirty with him? I really like this guy and I really want things to work between him and I. And I was like, fine, whatever, I don't really care. Until we hung out and nobody was paying any attention to me. That's an issue, and that's what's going to get me all riled up.
Kim, there's people that are dying.
So now I decided I am gonna take him from her.
You're just like a whore, such a tramp.
It was now my mission and my goal. So now anytime that all 3 of us would hang out, I was wearing mini skirts and I would just be super seductive towards him. Like the one night we were all hanging out and Sarah, well, the one night all of us are hanging out. We just got to this restaurant, sat down, ordered our food. Whenever Sarah gets a call from her mom, saying that she needs to come home right now because there's an emergency. So I was like, I don't want to be left here alone, and I don't want to go somewhere else for food because I literally just ordered my stuff. I'm so hungry.
Why the fuck you lying?
So then Jake, her lovely boyfriend, offers to stay with me, and oh my god, you should have saw the look on Sarah's face. It looked like she was going to have a panic attack. For good reason, of course. She knew it was coming. Well, fast forward, after dinner, he drives me home and we end up doing the nasty in his car. And when I got home, I texted Sarah and I was like, hey, I have to tell you something. Before she could even say what, I literally just said, Jake and I slept together, sorry. So, you know, she FaceTimes me, she's crying, and she's like, I begged you not to do that. I really liked him. And I told her, think of it as a blessing in disguise.
Girl, shut the fuck up.
Because if he really liked you that much, he wouldn't have done it. So if anything, I did you a favor.
Are you serious right now, bro?
What the fuck?
After this, Jake and I kept screwing around with each other throughout their whole relationship, which only lasted a few months. But yeah, Sarah knew that him and I were still sleeping together because I would tell her. And she never confronted Jake about any of it because she just didn't want him to leave her. Pretty desperate if you ask me. I mean, like, I low-key did feel bad about it, okay, because you could see her mental health declining on the outside. Like, she stopped taking care of herself, she lost a lot of weight, she never did her hair or her makeup, her nails always looked disgusting. Like, I don't know how she thought that she was gonna take care of him and be with him whenever she couldn't even take care of herself. So eventually, Jake ended up breaking up with her, and he told her that it was because he wanted to be with me, but I didn't even really like him, so I just rejected him. There was no interest there whatsoever. Well, that was the last straw for Sarah. She wasn't playing games with me anymore.
Don't be shocked. You're shocked? You're shocked?
She really wasn't. So she ended up telling me about this guy that she really liked. And then I was like, maybe we should take a break from guys considering whatever, like what just happened with Jake. And then that's whenever she's like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about anything like that happening with this guy because he hates bitches that look like you. And I was offended because I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you making digs about how I look? Be fucking for real. So then I was like, okay, want to make a bet? And she was like, yeah, I would love to. She sounded way too fucking cocky and confident. So I definitely had to shut that shit down immediately. So I'm like, well, if you're so confident in this guy that you've literally only known for a few weeks, so I'm like, why are you so confident in a guy that you've literally only known for a few weeks? He could just be telling you this shit to get in your pants. And she was like, because he literally wouldn't even touch you with a 10-foot pole. I showed him what you look like and he said that he would never fuck a girl that looks like you without a condom because of how gross you look. Yep, that did it for me. That did it for me. Now my mission was to sleep with this guy that she was interested without a condom. Yes. So fast forward, we all made a plan to meet at this party that one of his friends was throwing. And this guy was probably like 23 years old. He wasn't the worst looking, but he also wasn't the best looking. But my mission wasn't to find this guy attractive. It was literally just to sleep with him, despite Sarah. So we go to this party, we're all hanging out, playing drinking games, and then we decide to sit outside in the back on the patio, and that's whenever Jackie and Becky get there. So yeah, they get to the party. Sarah, she gets up and she's like, hey, I have to go grab Jackie and Becky real quick. So, you know, they get to the party, and that's whenever, after she gets up, I make my move immediately. I start being seductive and flirty with him, and he really wasn't taking to it, so that was pretty embarrassing. Like, I'm glad that I didn't do it in front of Sarah, which originally was my plan. My plan was to directly flirt with him in front of her and in front of our friends to embarrass her. So yeah, I was like, come on, like, let's go take some shots inside. He's playing hard to get, but somehow I get this man into the kitchen and we're taking shots. So now I had to take it to the next level because usually all I have to do is ask a guy if they want to sleep with me and then they say yes. I wasn't used to this shit. So I was like, oh, I've heard that you've never slept with a girl like me before, you know, like, that's a shame because you don't know what you're missing out on. Like, it would be the best time of your life. And then he's like, yeah, I doubt it. And I was like, okay, then let's make a bet. If you don't like it, then I don't know, what do you want? And then he's like, all right, if I don't like it, then I get to take a video of us doing it. So I obviously agree.
Cut his fucking mic, since he wanna be fucking dumb.
We go upstairs, we're up there for about like 30 minutes. He ended up taking a video. Honestly, I wasn't even worried because he's literally 23 years old. And I think he knows that if he sends around this video, it's gonna get him sent to jail. So, you know, Jackie, Becky, and Sarah and we all go back to my house at around like 2 in the morning. And I tell Sarah, and then Sarah's like, I don't believe you. So then I ask him to send me the video, and he sends it to me, and then I show it to her. And she starts acting all sad and stuff. And then she's like, oh my God, what is that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, do you not see those sores on his you know what? Like, when she told me that, I didn't even look on the video to see if they were actually there. I immediately had to run to the bathroom because I just started puking everywhere. Because I knew exactly what she was talking about because I was questioning it myself. She comes in the bathroom and she's like, dude, you might want to go get checked. So the next day I wake up, Jackie, Becky, and Sarah are gone, which is very unusual because usually after a night out, we would all go to breakfast and stuff like that. And then I look on Snapchat and stuff and they're posting at breakfast with each other. Real fake, if you ask me. Well, then I realized that I have like a million Snapchats and texts and everything like that because that guy who likes to expose people, he tagged me in something. Yeah, I was featured on his page. But when I look at his story, it's a screenshot of the video. Everything was like covered up, just like he just circled the sores. And he was like, y'all might want to stay away from this bitch unless y'all want to catch the clap or whatever else she has. But if you guys want the full video, DM me. Which, I don't even have fucking chlamydia, so he's literally a moron. But I'm literally having a full-on panic attack in my room. I was hyperventilating, I couldn't breathe. And of course, here comes my mom making it worse. She comes in the room screaming at me because she's friends with some of my other mom's friends as well. And of course, they told her. So my mom like made me quarantine in my room for like 2 weeks before she took me to go and get tested. And then I came back positive for HSV 1 and 2. If you don't know what that means herpes in the mouth and down there. So then in the group chat, I get a text message from Jackie, Becky, and Sarah. And they're like, that's what you get for being a backstabbing, two-faced bitch. Good luck stealing someone else's boyfriend now because there's not one guy that's gonna wanna be with you when they find this shit out. And she made sure of it. Any guy that I was talking to that she got like wind that I was talking to, she found a way to get the video to them. And like I could barely show my face around anywhere where kids who went to my school would hang out because the last few times that I had been to one of those places, there would be comments made about me. And I think the worst one was whenever I was standing in the Starbucks line and, you know, everybody's staring at me and then somebody starts playing the video really loud. And my mom wouldn't let me switch schools. Like, she literally just started treating me like a piece of shit. And anytime my mom and Sharon would hang out, like if one of them were like having a cookout or something, I wasn't allowed to sit at the table with them because I was such a disgrace, but Sarah was allowed to. And my mom was literally even praising Sarah. So yeah, I was a bitch, but karma was an even bigger one. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, maybe hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know how to send in your anonymous story time, or you want to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the links down below in the description. But other than that, I will see you guys next week with a new story time.